Okay, so last week I
Okay, ready? Here we go. We totally just cut that guy off.
and then
Boys, open up. We know you're in there.
and then
Tell us what you know.
and then
Can I just get a medium fries?
okay, that last part isn't really all that relevant to the story, but the point is, they put me on house arrest for jaywalking. And you want to know what they told me? They told me they're not using ankle monitors anymore because people kept cutting them off. So they're using a brand new type of tracker, and it goes in your mouth. Look at this shit! It with these bars over its teeth, like this, right here, and it has these rubber bands in between them for no reason, and it's so painful and uncomfortable, and I hate this. Is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Grr! Okay, sorry about that, I got a little carried away. I gotta calm myself down. Oh, damn it, I forgot I can't eat pretzels because of stupid milk sugar!
You ever have a craving for something familiar? Like you could eat any food in the pantry?
Oh, food is overrated anyways.
But you know exactly what you want, and it's the same thing you had yesterday and the day before that and 3 minutes ago? This is what we in the biz like to call comfort food, and it can be exactly what you need after a long, hard day. Comfort food can be anything, and it can be your comfort food for any reason. Whether it's a nostalgic meal from your childhood, a simple-to-prepare snack, it tastes good, or you're just insane and wrong, it doesn't matter. Comfort food is completely subjective, and it should just make you happy.
But it doesn't let me play as a red-haired girl climbing a mountain, so fuck this thing.
Now imagine taking the idea of comfort food and applying it to video games, and you've got yourself what I like to call the comfort food game.
I am the most creative person I know.
Well, it's technically up to you entirely what your comfort food games are. If I had to attach a definition to it, it would probably be something along the lines of a simple game that's easy to pick up and play that you're always able to come back to. Now, it doesn't have to be simple or easy to pick up and play. Really, it could just be something you keep coming back to, like a good meal or your local police station because you keep forgetting you're on house arrest.
I am losing my mind.
Now, when I say keep coming back to, I don't mean getting a couple hours into a game, stopping and getting up to go solicit. I don't know, what do normal people do in their free time? If you're playing a 40-hour game, well, obviously you're not going to be able to finish the whole thing in one sitting unless you have the endurance and patience for it. But continually coming back to a game for a single playthrough is not something I would count as a comfort food game. Well, that doesn't mean you can't or don't like the game, but what I'm talking about here is a game you constantly come back to beat over and over again. Now, if you're beating a 60-hour game over and over again, then yeah, that's comfort food. You probably don't have a lot of time to play other games, but hey, more power to you.
Although that's like saying your comfort food is a 3-course meal. Like, okay, sure, but what?
Let me put it this way. I really like NieR Automata. It's one of my favorite games of all time. But it also makes me sad. It's kind of a bummer. So it's not really something I can continuously jump back into. I beat it once, and it'll probably be a while before I hop back into it again. So while it is one of my favorite games, I wouldn't consider it comfort food for me.
So what would I consider to be comfort food for me? Nothing! Because I can't eat anything! Because it's stupid!
Celeste is my favorite video game of all time, not just because of the beautiful story it tells, not just because the level design is expertly crafted, not just because the gameplay flow is so incredibly smooth, not just because the music is pure bliss, not just because of everything else, but it's also really easy to hop back into again. It's not a terribly long game, which makes it great to just run through every once in a while. And with how simple yet expressive the controls are, it's just addictive. It's not hard to come back to Celeste, even if you're just pissing around doing whatever. It's still a blast.
But it doesn't provide me with a tasty meal that nourishes my body, so f*** this game.
I really think any Mario game could be considered comfort food. These games are just so easy to understand, and yet they're so much fun. It's pretty easy to hop into any Mario game at any point and have a good time, say for like 2. However, I think the Mario games that are the easiest to jump into are probably the most boring options I could go with. Both Super Mario 3D Land and Worlds are just these cozy little experiences. They may not be super complex, they may not really try to evolve the Mario series in any way, but they're fun, I like them. It's nice to have a Mario game I don't have to get super invested in and can just play through some levels and have a good time. While they're not my favorite Mario games, that Honor Goes to Galaxy, I could play that game on repeat until the end of time, 3D Land and 3D World are just really easy to get into. They're nice and simple and just feel comfortable.
But you wanna know what's not comfortable? My mouth. This tracker is so awful!
On a completely different note, one game that is just so easy to come back to is Portal. A playthrough of Portal could take like 5 hours if you don't know what you're doing, but for those who have beaten it, it is a breeze. Like singular hour breeze. Sometimes I forget just how short Portal is, but that's not a bad thing. It is such a well-crafted experience, and the short length only makes it easier to come back to. And everybody who's played Portal knows this. I don't think there's a single person that played Portal and disliked it. It's got a weird, twisted atmosphere while still being full of charm. It's got a great and creative gameplay mechanic, and it's short, which means it's really easy to come back to and just do a quick playthrough whenever you feel like it.
Now, so far I've only taken a look at games with stories, games with a beginning and end. And I know I said before that comfort food games are games you can beat over and over again, but that's not always the case. Not all comfort food games have to have a definitive start and end. Just like how this stupid mouth tracker doesn't have an end, it's gonna be with me forever and I hate.
Let's take a look at Tetris. Now, Tetris is like my favorite puzzle game of all time. I know that's a super lame pick to have as my favorite puzzle game, but I just can't help myself. It's easy to understand, but a challenge to master, and I know that's true about any puzzle game, but I picked the one with the squares, fuck you. I would consider Tetris to be a comfort food game for me, just doing a couple rounds whenever I feel like it. It's just a fun way to kill time. It's an infinite gameplay loop. It's the same thing every time you come back, so while it doesn't have a beginning and end, it's familiar every time you play it, making it very easy comfort food. And that logic applies to a lot of arcade games for me as well. Pac-Man, Galaga, Dig Dug, Mappy, really anything with a quick and addictive gameplay loop is an easy way to distract me for a good couple hours.
Which is good, I really need to distract you from the fucking mouth tracker!
And you know what? I just really like Wii Sports. It's impossible to go wrong with a little Wii Sports. Grab a couple friends, shove a stick in their hand, and boom, y'all are gonna be having fun for hours. That, yeah, it may only be fun in the context of having other people play with you, but that doesn't mean I like it any less. Sometimes food is just better with people, you know?
Actually, I don't know. I can't eat anything because...
And I mean, there's like free-to-play junk, like, there's Fortnite, and, Rocket League, and, Genshin Impact?
I don't know, what do people waste their time on these days?
This kind of stuff may not really be my cup of tea, but I could still see the elements of the games I do like within them. A simple concept, but a lot of freedom with how you can use that concept. They're easy to pop in and out of from time to time. They've got an addicting gameplay loop that keeps you coming back for more. Except these games are a little more relevant and have an actual community surrounding them. Which could be another aspect of a comfort food game. Sometimes you keep coming back to a game for the huge online community it has. Being able to connect with a bunch of other people enjoying the same thing as you can be enough to keep you coming back to it. I mean, I still boot up Tetris 99 and I'm kinda surprised to constantly get full matches. But it still feels good to know that there's still a large group of people playing and enjoying this game. These free-to-play games may not be comfort food games for me specifically, but they are for a lot of other people.
That's great. Glad they have something to enjoy. But you know what I'm not enjoying right now? It doesn't matter. Hey, I think I finally calmed down. I guess taking a look at the games that make me happy made me happy. I think the best way to describe comfort food games are not the games you beat over and over again. It's more like... Ooh, you know when you're about to start a new game? And it's kind of a big game, like one that's going to need a lot of hours put into it. But you're really excited about playing it, but it's kind of a huge commitment. So you procrastinate by playing games you've already played before. Yeah, those games are comfort food games. And I'm not trying to say that like it's a bad thing, and I'm not trying to say your comfort food games are inherently bad or anything. Hell, I would consider my favorite game of all time to be comfort food for me, and it's my favorite game of all time. A comfort food game is really just there to kill a little time, or maybe cheer you up after a bad day. It may be super complex and deep, or it may be super simple and bare bones. At the end of the day, your comfort food games are whatever brings you comfort. It's nice to have a game you can fall back on, and if that game makes you happy, then who really cares what it is? Video games are all about freedom of expression and creativity, and so saying a game you like is invalid to be labeled as something or other just because it doesn't fit a certain definition is dumb. Categorizing things is important, it helps to keep things a little more organized, but I also think it's important that we keep categories a little more vague. Because if we don't, that's how we get pointless arguing and unnecessary confusion over things that should not be that confusing. All I'm trying to say here is that if you like a game, great, good for you. If you have a game you can constantly fall back on, that's fantastic. Don't try to attach definitions or labels to things that don't need them because that'll only drive us apart. And that's not what playing video games should be about. You know, I'm proud of the progress I made today. I think that deserves a little celebratory snack. Oh, I forgot I can't eat anything! This is... forgot a stupid... f***ing ass... shit mouth tracker! Yeah, this is the worst thing